Hello YouTube audience, welcome to another video. I'm Chef Dino, my channel Dino Valbone. I have a real special treat today for a recipe. I'm gonna make an traditional Armenian pastry called Nazook. It's this pastry is so delicious. It's very popular. Now, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to make it a little bit different than the traditional way. Traditionally, there is only one filling inside this delicious pastry, but what we're going to do is we're going to give it our own Wildhaven Acre twist. We're going to incorporate our fig jam. We're growing 5 different varieties of figs here at Wildhaven Acres. This is Black Mission. Black Mission is a fig that's very common. So a lot of the dark figs you see are Black Mission that you see in the store or outside in people's backyards. I'll show you in a bit when we open this jar. This thing is packed with figs. It's not all sugar and jelly. Actually, there's no jelly, very little sugar. The flavor comes from the figs and it's packed, jam-packed in there. And this is what we're giving away in 2 more weeks to whoever names my soup, name that soup. Soup gives it a name that gets picked. So make sure you subscribe. I'm going to put a link to that video for the soup at the end of this video. So make sure you watch it to the end. Just click on the video and give it a name. You got nothing to lose, but perhaps maybe win a jar of our fig jam. Now you can't find this in any stores. The only other place you can find it is at wildhavenacres.com, which is our website. But over there you have to pay for shipping and pay to purchase it. I will be sending this to you, shipping included, at no cost to you, complimentary. Okay, so make sure you do that. So we're going to use that as a filling in our pastry, and you'll see how all of that comes together. Quickly, I'm going to go over the basic ingredients. Of course, implements. We have our mixing bowl here. We have a flour sieve here. Sifter, sorry. Correct me again, please, if I make a mistake, my love. We have our rollers, couple of brushes. Now, as far as ingredients go, we have butter. It's 1 3/4 ounce of butter. So this translates to about 1 3/4 of a stick. Each stick of butter is about 4 ounces. No, so I'm sorry, it's 7.5 ounces of butter. So it's 1 3/4. I've grated this. Best way to get such good results is to freeze the butter and just grate it on your grater. Now I have another batch right here. It's butter. This one is 3/4, 3.5 ounces. So it's a little bit less than a stick. Okay, so let me go over that again. Little bit less than 4 ounces, 3/4 of a stick. 7.5 ounces, 1 3/4 of a stick. Okay, grated. And you're going to see why we grated this in just a bit. We have 1 cup of sugar. We have 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Here I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. It's the same flour, it's just this is 2 cups, this is 1. And the reason is this pastry has 2 components to it. It's the crust and it's the filler. The filler is where we're going to use the sugar, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and this 3/4 stick of butter. For the and a little bit of about a teaspoon of vanilla powder. For the crust, we're going to use, of course, the fig jam will go as a filler. We're going to use baking powder, 1 teaspoon, which I have here. We have a cup of yogurt. I use Greek yogurt. We have the 2 cups of the flour. Now here we have 4 eggs, which we're going to use both in the crust and the filling material. And we have our 7.5 ounces, 1 and almost 2 sticks of butter grated here. Okay, we need a couple of bowls for the egg because we're going to separate the yolk and the white for different use purposes. We're going to use both of it so nothing goes to waste. All right, so that's basically it. One more implement, you can either use a knife, but I like this one. It has this serrated edge. You're going to see how I use this and how the serrated edge gives this beautiful design and shape to the pastry at the end. All right. So first we're going to start by making our crust. Okay. Because the crust, we're going to make it and we're going to put it in the fridge for about half an hour. While meanwhile, we'll be making the filling material, the filler for the pastry. So the way I do this is take my sifter. I put about a cup, about half of the flour. It's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be exact. We're going to sift through that. All right, this is just so we don't get clumps. Okay, so now we're going to add our baking powder. Next, we're going to do the other cup of the flour. So we already did one, added the baking powder. We add the second cup and we sift through it. I'm scared my camera lady is going to correct me. All right, so that goes in there. Okay, now next step is going to be incorporating the 1 3/4 stick, 7.5 ounces of butter into the flour. So we're going to introduce the butter to the flour. I'm going to get this off of here. Okay. And what we're going to have to do is work this where the flour and the butter are completely mixed in together. So I'll do that first so it doesn't stick to my hands. You can put a pair of gloves on for this step. I wash my hands and I just use my bare hands. And if you do that, you mix it at first, it won't stick to your hands. All right, so I'm gonna just work this. You wanna pick it up and do that, kind of mix it all up. I'm gonna work this, and when it's at the proper consistency, I will stop and show you what it looks like. Be back in a few minutes. Okay, so that whole process shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. This is the consistency you get to, where you know, the butter and the flour is completely incorporated. You squeeze it, clumps up, and then falls apart. All right, now we're going to make a little well here. All right, at this stage, we are going to add our yogurt. Just like that. And then we are going to add our vanilla powder, 1 teaspoon. Next, we're going to add 2 of our eggs. I want you guys to give a shout out to the chickens we have. These are our farm fresh eggs from our garden. The chickens would really like a comment and a like on this video. They work so hard to produce these beautiful eggs. You can see what a beautiful orange yolk they have. If you compare these to store-bought chickens, I mean not chickens but eggs, their yolk is yellow, light yellow, but look at that. Especially with price of eggs nowadays, we're very grateful for our ladies. All right, so we got our flour, butter incorporated in there, our yogurt, our vanilla powder, and 2 eggs. Now this is going to go in the mixer, and we're going to make the make a dough for the crust. I'll meet you by the mixer while we're mixing this. So we have our mixer here on low speed. We're going to mix this until it's a nice consistency. You may think that it's not going to be moist enough, but it is. Just got to give it time. We're going to let this go in a little for a bit, for a few minutes, then I'll show you when we're just right. So sometimes you need to add a little more flour there to make it all come together. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a little bit of flour at a time until I just get that perfect consistency. So we're going to keep mixing, adding a little bit of flour, mixing, adding a little bit of flour, and I'll show you when we are at the right consistency. All right, be back in a bit. Okay, so you can see how the dough is separating from the bottom there. That's when we know it's ready. I'm going to lift this up and show you. Look at that. And it's right off of there. So what we're going to do is we're going to release this from the hook. If you have a little bit of flours on your hands, it will be good. Stick to your hands. All right. All right, so I'm going to get this off the hook and I'll meet you by the counter. Alrighty, so here we go. Oh boy, this looks perfect. So we're just gonna work this a little bit. Now, if you don't have a mixer like I have, you can just do this by hand. So it's at a point where it doesn't stick to your hands anymore. And what we're gonna do is work this a little bit, and then we're gonna cut it into 2 equal sections. And we're gonna put it on a plate, cover it with a plastic wrap, and let it sit there for about half an hour, okay? So here we go. Kind of get it into 2 equal pieces. And we're gonna work this into little balls. Talking about balls, check out my chicken ball soup video. Delicious, delicious soup for cold, cold days. It's on my channel, Dino Valbone. If you're watching this, please hit the like and subscribe button. There you go. I'm gonna take out a little plate, dust it with a little bit of flour. That right there. We're going to cover it in a saran wrap. We're going to put it in the fridge, and we're going to make the filler material, and I'm going to show you how we do that. Alrighty, so while our crust dough is resting in the refrigerator, we're going to make the traditional filler, what fills inside of the Nazook. Now, of course, we're going to give it a twist. We're going to fill it what traditionally is used, and we're going to do our fig jam in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to sift another cup. This is the other cup of flour that we had measured out previously. We're going to add our cup of just granulated white sugar. Okay. We're going to add another teaspoon of our vanilla powder. I've never used the vanilla extract. I don't know how that would work. The powder for this recipe, that is not. Yeah, thank you. But you may try it if you can't find the powder. All right, so we're going to give that a mix. Now we're going to do the same thing with this that we did with the crust dough. We're going to take our butter and we are going to incorporate it into our flour and sugar here, and this will make our filler. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix this just like we did the crust. I'll be back. It's going to take about maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes. I'll be back and show you what it should look like when we're done. So we're still working this. As you can see, it becomes where you, just like the crust, but this has sugar in it, so it's even more crumbly. So once you get to this stage where it looks like this, you're almost there. Again, this is gonna be the filler for the Nazook pastry. I'm gonna just do this for a few more minutes, and then we'll be pretty much ready to assemble our pastry and bake it. See you in a bit. Okay, so we're getting ready to assemble our pastry. What I've done here is taken another one of those eggs, 4 eggs, and separated the yolk and the white. I'm gonna make sure this is all nice and mixed, beaten, whisked, whipped up, whip it good. And we're gonna do the same with the yolk. Look at the color of this yolk, and look at that. Look at how it doesn't break. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in this video. If you get an egg and you break it and the yolk is runny or it falls apart, that means your egg is old. I mean, unless of course accidentally you tear it, but fresh egg should not run, especially the yolk. And another way to tell if your egg is fresh or not is you look at the white. If it has this gelatinous clump, it's fresh. If it's runny, it's old. So,
like watery.
Watery. Like watery, yeah. Okay. All right, so that's ready to go. All right, I'm gonna put this aside and I'm gonna show you how I assemble pastries. Okay, so we're back. We got our filler material. We got our crust dough, we got our jam, we got our implements, we got our egg yolk and egg white. Since we have 2 of these balls, what I'm gonna do, dough balls, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make one batch with the Wildhaven Acres fig jam, another batch just the traditional way so we can put them next to each other and compare, and you guys can vote and comment which one you think is more delicious and looking, because you can't taste it, or is your favorite, okay?
Unless they make it.
Unless you make it, unless you're making it. There you go. Remember, you can win one of these jars of Wildhaven Acres fig jam watching my video that's going to be tagged at the end of this video. It's called Name That Soup. I think there's only, we have only, what, 3 more weeks, maybe 2 more weeks to the drawing. So make sure you like, subscribe, and you enter the drawing. All you have to do is watch the video and give it a name. And if the name you've given is selected, you win a jar. We'll send it to you at no charge. People have already been commenting. I have a few good names. Let's see if you can come up something better. You can read those names in the comment section. All right. The way you roll this out is very important because it comes into play with the assembly of it. As you can see, I made like a little long piece here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it out. So the goal is to get a kind of like a square like that, not a round. This is not a pizza. So we're just gonna roll this out, and once I have it to the shape that I want it and it's ideal, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see we have this all nice and rolled out. Doesn't have to be a perfect square. The thickness is about this much, what, 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble this. So the first step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our whisked egg white, and we are going to put a layer of it. This acts like as a binding agent. It brings the whole thing together. So we're gonna make sure we get a nice even coat all the way to the edge, especially the edges, because we want to make sure that when we assemble these, the edges seal, and the egg white acts as a sealing compound. All right. Thank you. you. Welcome all comments, observations. Take that out of there. All right, so we got that there. Now, next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our filler material that we made, and we're just gonna sprinkle it all around. Now we're not gonna sprinkle it all the way to the edge. We're gonna leave a little bit of the edge there because that's where we're gonna seal the dough. The goal is to spread this out evenly, and we're gonna roll this up like a sushi roll actually. So it's kind of same concept, and then we're gonna just cut it like a sushi roll actually. I never thought of that.
That's also how you make cinnamon rolls.
Oh, okay, there you go. Never made cinnamon rolls before. But that can be another video. Maybe you can make it and show the audience. All right, so here we go. We got this nicely, evenly spread out filling material here. Okay, that's close as I can to the edge. Now comes the fun part. This is where we give this a twist. We make it Wildhaven Acre Nazook special. We're gonna open up a jar. This is a new jar. These are made in our certified kitchen. We are very particular about cleanliness. You can see this is nice and sealed. I can't even remove the lid. I have to pop it open. And look at that. Look at what you got in here. This is what I was talking about when I said this thing is packed with fruit. It's not a jelly. It's all
preserve.
It's a preserve, yes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take bits and pieces of this. We're gonna work it into our pastry here. The neat thing about this is that when we bake this, parts of it caramelize and it becomes like candy. And it is so, so, so delicious. If you haven't tried any of my recipes on my channel, this is one I would highly, highly recommend you try because it's very special. Remember, you can buy this on our website called wildhavenacres.com. We're on the Central Coast. We ship this jam to all over the United States. You can actually win one of these soon if you follow the link at the end of this video called Name This Soup. Name it, you pick your name, the name you pick will send you a complimentary jar of it. Of course, we'll have more opportunities to win later on down the line. Just so make sure you like, subscribe, engage, tell me what you think. Would love to hear from you. I'd love to make new friends all over the country. I have people following me all over, from Texas to Ohio to Florida, California, all over the place. So, and I love it. I love hearing from everybody. All right, so we're gonna spread this out. You can do 1 row, 3 row, 5 row. You can row. All right, now comes the fun part. This is where your sushi making talent comes in. Make sure your hands are dry. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll this up towards me. Okay, so we're gonna do that, just like that. All right, yes sir. My African gray parrot is in the background going. She is very impressed by this yummy pastry I'm making right here. Make sure there's no water, liquid around. I'm gonna roll that up just like that. It's like almost like a burrito. All right, so now we got that all rolled up. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and even. Okay, and we're gonna take our roller now, and we are going to just very lightly roll it out like that. We don't want to get it too flat because there's another step to this which is going to make it even flatter. Make sure it's kind of nice and even. You want the thickness to be even because then it'll bake pretty evenly. Just like that. You can work it. All right. Now next what we're going to do, this is an important step because it gives it nice color and texture. We're going to take a fork and we're going to score it. Just like that. And while you're doing this, you're also flattening it out a little bit more. What happens is when you do this, we're going to brush this with egg yolk. And the reason why we do this is the egg yolk goes in the deeper parts of the scoring, and it gives it different contrast in the color. So you'll have kind of dark brown, light brown. You'll see what I'm talking about at the end. You don't want to break through the dough, even though if you do it's okay. All it's going to do is make the delicious Wildhaven Acres fig jam ooze out. So again, I'm going to try to kind of work this so it's even, just like that. All right, and got to make sure it's not stuck on your work surface. Okay, now next we're going to take our smaller brush, we're going to take our egg yolk and we're going to brush it on there, just like that. Look at the color of this yolk. I'll tell you, there's nothing like having your own chickens where you know what you're feeding them. Actually, we give them our scraps from our kitchen when we have veggies. We save some for them. We buy their feed. We know what they're eating. We keep them healthy. They're free range. They eat bugs out there. So if you have the opportunity to have your own chickens, I would highly, highly recommend it. Especially now with the price of eggs being more than gold. All right, look at that. My mouth is already watering. I'm sure yours will be, if it's not already, yours will be soon once I bake this. All right, so we're gonna do that. We got our egg yolk on there. You kind of just wanna go as far as you can go on this side like that. Perfect. All right, now next step is, all we're gonna do is segment this and then we're gonna put it on our baking sheet and bake it. All right, and the way I like to segment them is I like to do them in angles. So this is where the serrated edge comes in. It gives it a beautiful, beautiful serration. So I'll go one straight, one angle, just like that. Straight, angle, straight, angle, straight, and angle, just like that. Look at how gorgeous, beautiful this looks. Okay, so now we're gonna transfer that to our baking sheet, and we're gonna put it in the oven and bake it for about half an hour at 350 degrees. I'll see you once it's on the baking sheet. Okay, look at that. I'll show you another one.
Yeah, I can see it.
And finally the last one. Look how beautiful this is. This is just absolutely gorgeous, yummy, delicious. It's Nazook, traditional Armenian pastry. So now we're going to preheat the oven. It's kind of important to preheat the oven when you're doing this to 350 degrees. It's going to go in there. At about 20 minutes, I'm going to take a look at it, make sure everything's going okay. And then at about 30 minutes, it's pretty much done and we're going to see the end results. Now, once this is baking in the oven, we're going to assemble our second batch, which is not going to have the fig jam in it. It's going to be just with the filling material that is traditionally used. All righty, I'll meet you by the oven in a bit and we'll get this rocking. All righty. So we're going in there. We're gonna time it. We're gonna check on it in 20 minutes. We're gonna show you what it looks like. Okay, so we got the first batch that has the fig preserve in it in the oven. It's baking. We're doing the second. This is the traditional way. We're not gonna do fig so we can compare the two together. But another filler you can do if you don't have jam, especially Wildhaven Acres jam, you can use walnuts and cinnamon. So you crush your walnuts and you put the cinnamon to your taste in this mixture when you're mixing it, and you use that like that, okay? So basically this is very simple, it's just that. Now we're gonna roll it, and we're gonna kind of go through the same process that we did with the first batch that we made. As you can see, this one comes out a little bit thinner because it doesn't have all that yummy fig preserve in it. And now we're just gonna roll this out just lightly. Don't wanna get it too flat. As long as it's consistent, you're good. We're gonna take our fork. We're gonna give it a nice scoring here. You can do however you like. You can go in different directions. Artistic like that. There you go. Alrighty. Okay. So comes the egg yolk. It's egg yolk time. We'll take our egg yolk. As long as you don't dribble on the side so it doesn't make it stick to your counter, you're good. So we're gonna apply this right here. And then just like before, we're gonna cut it into sections and bake it. So we're gonna do that, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes when our first batch we're gonna check on real quick. All right, see you in a bit. The 20 to 25 minute mark, you can see this is shaping up pretty nicely. I'm gonna take this out and just gonna flip it around to make sure I get nice even heating all around. We want this to kind of turn a little bit darker on the crust there, and it'll be just ready. Look at how beautiful that looks. Okay, so we're gonna probably let this go another 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, but I'm gonna periodically check on it. We're almost there with that first batch. Alrighty, so our 35 minutes is up. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's bring it out here. Take a look at it. What do you think? Maybe go a little bit more? Yeah, I would say we go another few minutes. No, you think it's good? Alrighty, so we'll leave it at that. I like to get them a little bit crispier, but our camera lady here thinks it's good, so we're gonna stop at that. Alrighty, now we're gonna put our traditional batch in there. We're gonna let this cool down, and we'll bake that and show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is the second batch. It doesn't have the fig in it. You can see side by side before baking it. I'm gonna go in again, half an hour, 350 degrees. See you then. All right, we got our second batch here with no fillers. There you go. That's the traditional way of doing it. I want to point out on the crust here, see how there is like dark and light? That's because of the forking, and that's why we do that. To get pooling of the egg yolk and gives it darker and lighter and that beautiful, beautiful texture. Get a shot of the kind of that and then the ones with the jelly there. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. I want to show you something here. Look at that. This is the fig jam. Come close. It's like candy. It is so delicious. Alrighty, we're gonna let this cool down, and then we'll cut one of them open, one of each, and show you what the inside looks like. And of course, we're gonna do a taste test. Thank you for hanging on. Remember to like and subscribe. This is Nazook, Wildhaven Acres, Dino Valbone style. Chef Dino. Okay, guys, so we have our Nazook here cooled down. I put them on a plate for display. This is ready to go. So we have the side here with the fig jam in it. I'm gonna pick one up. Look at the color. And on this side, we have the traditional where it doesn't have the fig jam in it. So I want you to take a look at this and tell me which one is your favorite. The one with the fig? No fig. Comment down below. You can store this in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag for a week at least. When you take it out of the fridge, you might want to just put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds, 15 seconds to just warm it up, and it regains that beautiful flavor and texture and a little bit of heat, temperature wise. That's if your family doesn't finish it the first day, because if you have a larger family with kids, oh my gosh, they're going to eat this up in one day. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Try this recipe, tell me how yours turned out. Again, remember to check out my video, Name That Soup, to win a jar of fig jam. That drawing is coming up in about a couple of weeks. Look out for it. Like and subscribe. I will see you in my next video soon. Thank you for watching.